Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you for your attendance and welcome you to the annual and special meeting of IntelliPharmaCeutics International, Inc. My name is Dr. Issa Odidi, and as chairman of the company, I will chair today's meeting. We will begin with a formal meeting to conduct the business of the company as set forth in the notice of annual and special meeting of shareholders dated March 9, 2015. At the conclusion of the formal meeting, management will provide an opportunity for those who wish to ask questions of management. Present today are Dr. Amina Odidi, Director, President, and Chief Operating Officer of the company. John Alport, Director and Vice President, Legal Affairs and Licensing of the company. Dominic De La Pena, Chief Financial Officer of the company, sitting in front row. And we also have with us today Bahadur Madani, Director of the company and Chairman of the Audit Committee, sitting right far behind. At this time, I now call the meeting to order. With the consent of the meeting, I would ask this time that John Alport act as Secretary of this meeting. The list of shareholders entitled to vote at this meeting has been tabled. CST Trust Company, by its representatives, Mr. Christopher De Lima and Carol Pineda, to acting as scrutineer of the meeting. Has everyone registered with the scrutineer? If not, please do so now. The notice calling this meeting, the management proxy circular and form of proxy were mailed to those shareholders who were entitled to receive such, or to their designated agents. Copies of the financial statements of the company and auditors' report were mailed to registered shareholders of the company and those beneficial shareholders who have requested such materials. Additional copies of such materials are available at this meeting. Unless there are any objections, I propose that we dispense with the reading of the notice of the meeting. Proof that notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the bylaws of the company has been filed with the Secretary, and I'm advised that there is a quorum present. I now declare that this annual and special meeting has been properly called and is regularly constituted for the transaction of business. Before commencing the business of the meeting, I would like to comment on the voting procedure. Each registered holder of common shares who personally attends the meeting, or each duly appointed proxy holder of a registered shareholder, will be entitled to vote at the meeting the number of common shares held on record by the registered shareholder. Voting today on all matters will be by show of hands unless a ballot is demanded, except for the vote by ballot on unallocated options and other rights. Please note that each shareholder or proxy holder present in person at this meeting has the right to demand that a ballot be conducted on any resolution, either before the show of hands or following that vote. I now place before the meeting the consolidated financial statements of the company as at and for the year ended November 30, 2014, together with the independent auditor's report to the shareholders. Copies of these documents were mailed to the registered shareholders of the company who were entitled to receive them, or to their designated agents, as well as to beneficial shareholders who requested them. Extra copies of these documents are available. Management will be available to respond to any questions on the financial statements at the conclusion of the formal part of this meeting, if people wish. The next item of business is the election of directors. Management's nominees were identified in the management proxy circular mailed to the shareholders of the company. The slate of nominees is comprised of Dr. Issa Odidi, Dr. Amina Odidi, John Alport, Bahadur Madani, Kenneth Kested, and Dr. Eldon Smith. I will now hear a motion nominating these persons as directors of the company for the ensuing year.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate for election as directors of the company the 6 persons whose names have been read.
Any seconder, please?
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Are there any further nominations, please? As there are no further nominations, I declare that nominations are closed. And I'll put the motion to the meeting and call for a vote by a show of hands. I declare the, I'm calling for a show of hands, please. Thanks. I declare the motion carried for each of the 6 nominees as directors of IntelliPharmaCeutics International Inc. And each of them is elected as a director of IntelliPharmaCeutics to serve until the next annual meeting of shareholders or until their successors have been duly elected or appointed. I will now hear a motion for the appointment of auditors of the company for the forthcoming year and authorizing directors of the company to fix remuneration to be paid to the auditors.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Deloitte LLP Chartered Accountants be appointed auditors of the company until the next annual meeting, and that the directors of the company be authorized to fix the remuneration to be paid to the auditors as set out in the management proxy circular.
Any second, please?
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Thank you. And I'll put the motion to the meeting and call for a vote by show of hands. For the motion? Any votes withheld? Carried then. I declare the motion carried and that Deloitte LLP Chartered Accountants are appointed as auditors of the company and the directors of the company are authorized to fix their remuneration. I will now hear a motion for the continuance of unallocated options and other rights that were previously authorized to be available but have not yet been issued under the company's stock option plan to continue to be available to the employee retention and for incentive compensation purposes. Motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the unallocated options and rights and other entitlements under the company's stock option plan be approved as set out in the management proxy circular.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Thank you. And I'll put the motion to the meeting and call for a vote. In accordance with the normal governance procedures for such matters, no votes of management, shareholders, or their affiliates will be counted with respect to the approval of this resolution. We will take the vote by ballot on this item of business. I shall ask the scrutineer to distribute the ballots and ask the secretary to give instructions in the use of the ballot. John?
Shareholders or their proxy holders are entitled to vote. If you have filed your proxy and have not revoked it, there should be no need for you to cast a ballot, as your proxy holder should vote on your behalf. Please raise your hand if you wish to have a ballot. Please record your vote on the motion by indicating for or against the motion in the spaces provided on the ballot. I guess there are no people doing a ballot at this time, so we can forego that. This is the scrutineer's report. Which I submit to you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Based on the scrutineer's report, I declare the motion regarding this item of business to be carried, and the directors of the company are authorized to give effect to the extension of all unallocated options, rights, and other entitlements under the company's stock option plan. It's approved as set out by the management proxy circular. This concludes the business of the meeting. As there is no further business to be brought before the meeting, I will now hear a motion to conclude the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move to conclude the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Thank you. And I'll put the motion to the meeting. For the motion? Against the motion? So it's carried. I declare the formal portion of the meeting concluded. Are there any questions that shareholders have for management of the company? Is that it? No questions?
Thank you very much.
Well, in that case, thank you very much.